right, hello everyone. I just want to say thank you for joining. And I'm Akanksha Tibrewala, and I am a sophomore in Chantilly High School. I have been part of Robotics for Youth for about 5 years, and yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this new program starting up called the R4 Innovation Challenge. All right, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about Robotics for Youth, the organization first, and then we'll get into the actual challenge. So Robotics for Youth is a nonprofit organization that is completely youth-led, and the goal of Robotics for Youth is to promote STEM among school children. And we really want to encourage STEM, and yeah, we have over 80 active volunteers, and the way we promote this organization is through expos, competitions like these, and certification classes and others. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about this innovation challenge. So this innovation challenge is basically where you can create your own innovation if you have an idea for an innovation, and then you have to solve a real world problem. So we encourage students to think outside the box or even explode the box. And this solution has no limits. It can solve a problem relating to coronavirus. It can solve a problem relating to the elderly. It can solve a problem relating to the medical field, anything. And the purpose that we wanted to introduce this challenge is because as a kid, I had a lot of ideas that I often forgot, or I just didn't have the resources to create. And there are probably a ton of kids like you guys that have a ton of ideas in your brain. And we want this to be a place where you can all put your ideas in and create something out of it. And these ideas are what will make the world a better place to live in, and it'll improve the overall standard of living. And actually this year, in school, I'm doing a project called the Toshiba Explore Vision Project, where me and two other friends of mine were creating an innovation. We're creating a walker for the elderly with Parkinson's disease to help them walk. So I'll be using that as an example later on. So the reason that we wanted this to become like a competition is because we wanted to motivate the kids to do well and put their 110% into this. I'm sure you all have heard of the popular TV show Shark Tank. And this is pretty similar to that, but it's not as commercial. So here, we just want to nurture the kids' ideas, and we really want this to be a place where you can put in your idea and introduce it. So we also kind of want to act as a small-scale business incubator. And for those of you who don't know what that is, a business incubator is basically a company that helps other startup companies manage and grow their company as well. For example, you all must know Uber, right? So Uber was not as popular as it is now. When it was a startup company, it used the help of a business incubator called Techstars Venture to help it grow and become as popular as it is now. So yeah, we really want the kids to just create their idea and introduce it to their respective industry. And remember, no idea is a bad idea. Anything you think of can be used here. All right, so I know it's kind of hard to meet up with people and create teams because of coronavirus and everything, but if you have a sibling that you want to work on this competition with, or if you have a friend that you're comfortable meeting in person with, you can work with them, or you can just meet through Zoom and create a team like that. Or if you'd like, you can go solo, but if you're creating a team, it can have up to 3 people total in it. Here we want the students to address a problem and then create a solution that correlates with the problem. And the way they're going to present the prototype, their idea is in the form of a prototype that they can make through homemade materials, or they can CAD it and 3D print it, or they can do a slides presentation, which I'll talk about a little later, or they can do both. They can have a prototype with the slides presentation. So here I've put 2 links to some example slides decks that were used, that you can use as a template if you want. So basically what happens in these slides is that first they address a problem, they research the problem and say, this is the audience that this problem affects, and this is the problem. And then they talk about if there is a present technology, so for example, my walkers idea. So there are obviously tons of walkers out there. Some walkers have wheels, some are made of aluminum, and some don't have wheels, and they're all different. So it's important to research that and describe the limitations. For example, this walker is made of aluminum and this one's made of metal. So the metal one is bad because it can't be transported easily. It's not as lightweight and it's pretty heavy, right? So there should be limitations there. Then you want to propose your solution. You want to describe the benefits that your solution has and what makes it different from the existing technology. And you also want to describe the technologies you use in your solution. For example, my walker, again. Our walker is different from other walkers because we're going to be using sensors and it's also going to move by itself. And then we had to research some technology with motors. We had to research some sensors, for example, the gyro sensor. And yeah, you want to research what all components you're using inside your product. You also want to talk about the value proposition, and that's the importance of, that's the value of, that's the like benefits of your product and like the value of the pain you're alleviating, you know? So it's like with my walker, where some elderly with Parkinson's disease are so far deep in Parkinson's disease that they can't even move and push the walker by themselves. So the pain we're alleviating is the fact that it's moving by itself and they can just walk with it and gain muscle strength. And the prototype, again, I said it's not required, but it's always good to have a prototype. So it gives the judges a visualization of how your product is going to look like and kind of a working model. And then after you're done creating your presentation, you're going to present in front of a panel of judges. All right, now I'm going to talk about the rubric. So there are 5 categories in our rubric. And the first category is knowledge and understanding. So here, again, I've said this a lot of times, just identify a problem in the targeted audience. For example, our problem was the elderly with Parkinson's disease. And then the audience was, again, people with Parkinson's disease. And if there's any existing solutions, you want to say what its limitations, like this one has wheel, this one doesn't have wheels, so it's going to be hard to move on the ground due to friction and stuff. You also want to demonstrate the understanding of challenges faced. So you want to talk about, when me and my team were creating this prototype, it was hard to make it working. And then you want to talk about how that was a challenge and then how you overcame that challenge. You also want to talk about how it meets a need and enhances quality of life. So it has to make something easier for people and it has to help people. The next category is design thinking. So you want to make sure that your prototype is simple. No one wants to work with a really complicated product. You want it to be simple and easy to use. It also should have a positive impact, and that's pretty self-explanatory. And you should have some research. Again, the research could be an existing product. The research could be the components in your product. And the next category is testing. So this is for if you're creating a prototype, you want to test the prototype and you want to show the data that you collected and you want to show the conclusion that you created from the data you collected. So you want to talk about what the data you collected, the conclusion you made, and then after that conclusion, what improvements could be made to your prototype because of the testing that you took. Next, you want to talk about, the next category is market demand. You want to talk about the benefits of your product and what makes it different from the existing products. You also want to analyze the cost versus benefit. You want to talk about how much time it took you to make this, how much money you spent to make this, and the benefits out of the prototype that you've made. And lastly, the presentation should be clear, logical, and relevant, and it should engage the audience. All right, and this is like a typical rubric you'd see at school. It's out of 1 to 5, and always you're always good. Your goal is always aim for a 5. All right, let's talk a little bit about competition day. So our competition will be held virtually online sometime in January 2021. We're not exactly sure yet, but when we create the final date, we'll let you all know. But yeah, it'll be sometime in January. So for sign up, there's $25 sign up fee, and this is the link for the sign up. But yeah, this is the link for the sign up, and this presentation will be posted on our website, which I'll give you guys a link to later. It'll be posted on our website as well as this whole slides deck. So you guys, if you need to refer back to this, you can always look at our website. All right, let's talk a little bit about post-competition. This is, please don't confuse this with the actual competition. This is after the actual competition. So usually competitions like these, like FTC and FLL, you create a robot and then it kind of ends there, right? We don't want that here. We want it to be like, we want you guys to create your product and then advance it. We want to keep going from there. We want you to advance your prototype. We want to create a final prototype, and then we want you to introduce it to the industry, and then hopefully have it become an actual product that can be distributed and sold. So what will happen after the competition is that we're going to choose the top 1 to 2 winners, and they'll be offered a mentorship support to advance their ideas. So again, they're not required to take this offer, but we have it for you if they need help in the form of mentors, labs, softwares, applications, industry connections, money, etc. Anything that they need, we'll try our best to provide it. So what we're going to do is we're going to email a list of questions to the team that wins, and these are not the exact questions that are going to be there. This is just kind of an overview of the questions that are going to be there. And we'll email you an application, and then you respond, and then we'll take a look at it. So some of the questions are, what are the next steps that you want to take? What are you going to do to further your prototype? What resources do you need? Like I mentioned above, we have mentors, labs, softwares, etc. And how long do you think it will take to complete this final prototype? Will it take you 2 months? Will it take you 6 months? Yeah. And then an RFY mentor will check up with the team and require an update every 1 to 2 months. And the update will consist of what the team has done so far, what more help do they need, and what they're going to do next. And then RFY will then help, after they're done creating their final prototype, RFY will help the kids present their prototype to industry experts. For example, our walker, it will be presented to hospitals or doctors or the medical industry in general. Yeah, so does anyone have any questions?
Hey, this is Akanksha, this is Arvind. So thank you for walking through the slides. So folks are on the call, like, this is an excellent opportunity. If any of the kids or if anybody wanted to test something, do something, and they were like, okay, maybe we could just do it at our home. We cannot take it beyond a prototype and whatnot. This is an excellent opportunity for all of you to do amazing things, right? So we are not limiting what ideas you can bring to the table and all of that stuff. So just anything is fair game. And then there's an excellent opportunity for you as you go apply to colleges or go apply to, you want to start your own company and things of that nature, right? Any idea is fair game. And to me, this is an excellent opportunity that I don't think I had or any of my kids had, right? So at least we are trying to see if we could enable some of that stuff and take it forward.
Mm-hmm. One thing I also forgot to mention is that this challenge is open to kids of any ages. You can be a 6th grader, you can be an 11th grader, just anyone. You can come in and pitch your ideas. Do we have any other questions?
So the presentation will be like a Google slide or something that you have to create, right?
Yeah.
If you think you could do it differently, you could pick whatever medium, because at the end of the day, you're going to present. Pick whatever medium you're comfortable with, right? It doesn't have to be Google Slides and whatnot. If you use Max and you use Keynote and something else, that's fine as well. Use whatever, what you think is the best way you can communicate your idea.
Yeah. So then at the end, when they're presenting or when you're presenting, you'll be narrating the thing, right? You'll be explaining your presentation to the judges.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Again, think of this as just a comparison, right? So from a comparison standpoint, if you have looked at Shark Tank, it will be something similar, right? Because you're making a pitch. Here's the idea. You're making a pitch, and you're taking it forward. So think of it along those lines. At least if you need to anchor to something.
All right, if we don't have any more questions, if you all think of any other questions after this meeting, you can always reach out to me, out to us at this email right here. This is also our link to our website. I can email out the link as well, so you all can visit our website, and there's a sign up link on the website as well as the slides deck will be on the website too. If there's nothing else, then thank you all so much for joining.